What's going on, guys? Coffee and Crypto here. I'm Rob,
And this is Nick.
and today we have an urgent warning for all crypto investors because this week is a pivotal week in the crypto markets. We have many things going on giving us financial data, which is going to affect how the market moves. We have GDP coming out, which, if that's negative, that is going to signal us being in a recession. And we have not been in a recession in a long time. Um, a lot of people and investors and uh, I think even just the average person in general is feels like we're in a recession, is expecting one. Um, but this will officially signal that that we're going to be in one on a data point um, perspective. So we have that potentially going into a recession, which I think it's likely that we are. We have interest rates going to be raised. We're looking at 0.75 basis points, potentially a full percentage, which I'm not sure if that's ever been done. Do you know about that, Nick?
Not in my lifetime, I don't think.
Yeah, so that would be big. And then on top of that, we have earnings call this week for major companies, tech companies, major corporations, the top companies in the country. So if calls are bad, we're in a recession officially, and we're raising interest rates really high. That's going to create a lot of panic, fear, uncertainty, doubt in the markets, and we could see a very steep sell-off. So this could be the next leg down for crypto, and typically, crypto markets respond with the most volatility. So we could see a very steep sell-off. So if you're a crypto investor, this could be a good time to potentially enter the markets. I don't see, the data is like the writing's pretty much on the wall. I don't see us not having bad numbers and information, and it's already been, it's already being telegraphed ahead of time by, various parties with the recession and earnings and interest rates. So I think we may see the next leg down. To where that goes, we'll get into our price predictions. But if you're a crypto investor, you need to be aware of what's going on, the next couple of days, the next week or so, and how that's going to affect the market. Because if you believe in crypto, you believe in the future, this could be a good entry point, especially because we're sitting above, we're at 22,000 now. I think anything under 20,000 is really good for dollar cost averaging. And then if this does put us into that next leg down, how long is that going to last? Well, if we're in a recession, that could last for 1 year, 2 years. We don't really know. So we could see, some bottom prices for the next, 6, 12, 18 months, especially if the Fed keeps raising interest rates and we're in a recession. Companies' earnings aren't doing good. People are getting laid off. People are now starting to default on, their credit, their mortgages, their cars. You're seeing a rise in car loan default. Cars are being repossessed at like an extremely high rate. So you're having all these things happening in the economy. So risk assets typically sell off. And then I know, just speaking with other investors and other professionals in finance, people are still waiting to, for things to go lower to really start buying in. So that's kind of like the general consensus and vibe and overview of what you should be aware of. So Nick, why don't you give us some thoughts on that and where you stand? Because I know you have a different perspective. So let's see what you got to say. So you're more bullish.
Rob is bearish. Bearish Rob. I think that everything that Rob was just talking about with the news and everything, with the GDP coming out, we got earnings reports coming out over the next couple weeks. I think all of that bad news, it's got to be, some of it's priced in. We've been in this ranging market between the bottom at 17,000 and we got all the way up to, what is that price level? Right around 24,000. We've been ranging. I think we're just kind of just chilling out here. I think we have to have some severely bad news. Like if the Fed comes out and
the black swan could be monkeypox.
Okay.
That they're
Well,
now talking about monkeypox. They may consider it a global pandemic.
I, I don't know about that, Rob. I Yes, I could see us going down to ten to $12,000 range, but only if we have some sort of crazy black swan event. Um, yes, the Fed is tightening, but I do believe if we are in a recession, don't you think that would give the Fed some reason to start loosening up a little bit? Or do you think that everyone's already so scared that all of the big investors are just going to keep selling off? I believe like all the smart money is already sold.
They wouldn't start backing off because inflation is, severe right now. So they're just going to keep tightening. The reason they're tightening is to get inflation under control.
You don't think inflation's under control? Like I just saw the gas was under $4 a gallon.
That's because they released oil from the strategic reserve. So that's not really a sustainable way of managing gas prices. That's a temporary fix. And then so Russia's still in uh, their Russia Ukraine conflict war. So you have supply chain issues, gas issues. So that, in my opinion, that's a temporary fix of gas prices.
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to see how things play out after the interest rate is going to be a very volatile day. That's on Wednesday, I believe, or is it tomorrow? Um, I think it might be tomorrow, actually. So that's going to be an extremely volatile day in the markets. Uh, right around the time that that comes out, it always is. Uh, if we get above 24,000 and can sustain a couple daily candles up there, I think Bitcoin's headed to 30,000. I know it sounds very contrarian. I like to be a contrarian, but I believe that all the bad news is already priced in, unless we get some really, really bad news. Because like the entire time we were down in this area, all these bankruptcies were happening and centralized exchanges, and we were actually rallying into all that data. So I think all the bad news is priced in, unless monkeypox becomes some severe thing that starts killing everyone.
Who knows? They're already talking about it. But all jokes aside, the monkeypox thing, that's just speculation. We're just having some fun with that. But they are talking about that on a like a pandemic level. So we'll see. But the next major area of support for Bitcoin is around that 12, 13,000 range. So could this be the catalyst for the next leg down? And then, when I say next leg down, it's not going to be, we're at 22,000 and change right now. We're not going to have a straight drop to 12,000 if that were to occur. I think we would have a lot of volatility around this whole next week or so. And then if we're in a recession and things are just continuously bearish, um, if you look at charts of the past, it's not just one straight drop down. It would just be like a slow bleed down until we find a bottom and then continue to come up, unless we have a catalyst or black swan event that, drives us extremely low, like COVID or, one of these unwinds. So just from an investor standpoint, these are all things to be aware of. Um, I wouldn't be taking any big, long, uh, leveraged positions right now. You want to think long term. How can you dollar cost average into the market, get good entries, and just kind of sit tight? Because if we are in a recession, which we likely will be, that's going to last at minimum 1 to 2 years. Who knows, how long that could go with, the inflation, the money printing issues, the economy, and just everything going on. So you have to have an overall bigger macro perspective of what the external factors are besides, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the next project coming out. Because if there's no money to invest into, um, startups, venture businesses, new technology, then how is that stuff going to get pumped up? So as an investor, we wanted to inform our viewers of what you need to know, what you need to be aware of. Um, you know, Crypto is tied to the broader uh, financial markets and just the economy as a whole. It's not independent of that. So those are my thoughts. Unless you got anything else to add,
Just
Nick.
one final thing. I'm not buying right now, but I'm also not selling. Most of my longer term, larger investments, I've rode some of them down already 90%. But I wholeheartedly believe in these projects. And I do believe some of the money is going to come from these meme coins, these trash projects. People are going to finally capitulate, sell out of those, and that money is going to go into the projects that have a longer term future. So that's why I am sitting tight on my projects.
What do you think about Tesla and Elon Musk selling off?
I, oh my gosh. I think that it was very interesting where they sold. I think they sold their bitcoins around 28,000, and that could have caused that break in the market that kind of caused us to capitulate down to 17,000. Like right here, if you look at the date when Tesla actually sold, it's right around this time period. Um, and they didn't actually release the fact that they sold until they were actually had to, like a few weeks later. It's going to be interesting if they come out in a month or two and say, "Oh yeah, we bought back like right around here." Just kind of interesting to see uh, what they say. But I think we can wrap it up there unless you got anything else to say, Rob.
As far as a market update and what we wanted to inform our viewers of to be aware of, I think that's pretty much it. There's plenty of news to go over, but we'll save that for another video. So we'll leave you guys there. Invest wisely, and you got to stay up to date on what's happening if you want to get good entry prices and not be underwater for the foreseeable future. So stay safe out there and happy investing.
And we will see you guys after this interest rate hike. It's going to be kind of cool to see what happens. And final thought: this is not investment advice. Do your own research. See you guys.